Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back. We're here with some more Saints Row the
Good, I
Third.
need help.
Everything all right?
If it was all right, I wouldn't need help, would I? The boxes are too heavy.
Boxes? What boxes?
I'm moving stuff into my place. There are boxes. Some are too heavy for me. I need help. Got it?
I'll be right over.
We're gonna. This is the last of like the little side mission character arc things. This is Kinzie's little Decker missions, and then once we're done with these in this video, we'll get back into the main storyline missions. Then we'll progress from there. This has the variation of the Trailblazer mission with the Tron bike, as I call it. I forget what it's actually called, but it looks like it's from Tron. And if you complete all those, you get that bike. So I'm gonna have to get on that. But it's also got the Guardian Angel mission, which not real crazy on those. But we're gonna head on over here and trigger the cutscene. This is a longer drive than I thought. Plus I wrecked a lot. How about that fucking fat ride? But this is probably my favorite car in the game. I don't know, it just handles well. It's fast. Some of the other cars are faster, but they don't handle quite as smoothly. Plus, once you upgrade it, it's like a fucking tank. Hence, probably why they called it the Hammerhead. I'm sure, but at any rate, it's my personal favorite car. And then the Tron bike and the I think the Estrada is the motorcycle, the name of the motorcycle I like. It's basically like the non-crotch rocket motorcycle that's in the game. Pretty sure it's the Estrada. But here we are. Any minute now. Alright.
I thought someone who just got out of captivity would want to live it up a little more.
Not really. I hate people.
Oh. Okay, so do you have anything on the Deckers?
Not yet.
Okay, then what have you been doing since you got out?
Power leveling.
You're killing me, Kinzie.
I can't help you take down the Deckers until I know where they're hiding. So I wrote a program that tracks the user's physical location while they're logged on.
That's awesome.
Just play the damn game and I can pinpoint where the Deckers are in real life.
Oh, now we're talking.
I like to play games.
What am I supposed to do here?
I power level your cycle to be able to blow past any security block the Decker users put up.
So I drive around and hit stuff?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, I should be pretty good at that.
If you beat all of these, I think it's this and the trailblazing missions. If you beat all of them, you actually unlock this bike. I am gonna have to hurry up and beat so I can unlock this bike because I fucking love it.
You ever driven a motorcycle before?
It's one of my favorite rides.
You couldn't tell.
I love you too, Kinzie.
I almost can't even talk about it. Next question.
I wonder if that's a static comment or if it's procedurally generated. Because it really wouldn't make sense if you never drive a motorcycle.
At the end. That'll hit the most users. Not so bad.
If you never drive a motorcycle, if they still say that, I mean, that comment's gonna make no sense whatsoever. But yeah, we'll see. I don't know. If anybody ever got a different comment, just let me know, because I'm actually curious about that. But I always end up driving bikes, so I don't know. All right, now we're back into the game. A little bit of a quick edit there, because for some reason, whenever I was filming or capturing the footage, I kind of hung out on that mission complete screen for a minute or so. I don't know what the point was there.
Anyone in particular?
Fence company. That's fence like a barrier, not fence like buyer of stolen goods.
You're kidding me, right?
The company that makes them is seriously bad news. If you'd rather a corrupt, sinister organization keep making money.
I'll do it. Ugh, easier to say yes than understand the reason with you.
What was that?
Nothing.
I like how they kind of imply that Kinzie sort of scares the piss out of the boss. Just a little bit. because I mean, essentially, she's a powerful ally, but she can be a very powerful enemy too. The bridges are up. I forgot about that. I think they fixed that though, because for the longest time, even if you completed both versions of the end or both endings to the game, the bridges stayed up. But I think they fixed that when the Trouble with Clones DLC came out. Not 100% sure. These are the greatest missions. These side missions are easy as hell, 'cause, I mean, really, you just run around and blow shit up. Not real, not too difficult there. These ones and the tank ones are probably the easiest.
Looks better this way.
Having infinite grenades helps too.
Someone will better buy me a drink. Nothing like a little
Also,
carnage.
I'm not a huge IGN fan, but they did have a pretty decent interview with Laura Bailey, who is the voice
So much
for this
that.
particular personality of the boss in this game, and she's also in the fourth game. She's in a ton of other games too. She replaced Anna Graves as the Demon Hunter in Diablo 3. She was in Mass Effect 3. She was Sarah in Final Fantasy 13. Well, that whole trilogy.
Hey, just salt in the earth.
A few others off the top of my head I can't remember right off the bat, but it wasn't bad. It was a pretty good interview. She's actually one of those people too that when they are interviewed,
Never
she's
gets old.
fairly interesting and entertaining to watch. Like not too many people do I like watching interviews with. Probably like I'd say her, Kevin Smith.
Gotta love my job.
I know this is probably cliched, but I like watching interviews with James Hetfield. He's pretty interesting. Dave Mustaine, now that he's not such a fucking douchebag all the time. And this is, I think, Heli Assault. Yeah, Guardian Angel's our last one, I believe.
Thank God, I need your help.
Kinzie, I'm not moving any more boxes.
I went out and they found me.
Who?
The Deckers. Who else have I been hacking? Wait, don't answer that.
I'll come help get you out.
No, get into position and cover me instead.
Right.
This is actually my second attempt because I accidentally blew up her car the first time. The cars are a little squishy when you're using a helicopter to blow shit up, and sometimes the other gang's vehicles get a little close to the person you're trying to protect. Casualty of war type of stuff. A little bit of Opeth in the background there. Change the man, I did not like that new Opeth album. Speaking of which, since they're on the radio, I didn't mind
I'm ready to go.
Been waiting on you. You sure you can handle flying,
Heritage.
Mac?
Relax, Kinzie.
I
It has
understand
guns, I
Michael
can handle
Ackerfeld's
it.
pushing like 40 years old and doesn't want to do death metal. And actually, I mean, really, if you've heard him live in the last few years, his death metal voice isn't what it used to be. And I don't know if it's just because 20 years of doing it, or if it's just because he is getting older or whatever. But he said in an interview once that it was because they were using in-ear monitors, and then when he switched back to using earplugs, he got back to where he was originally with his voice. But it still sounds kind of bad at times. But, you know, I mean, that comes with aging and things like that. I noticed even Devin Townsend, his voice, while still is in pretty good form, even his screaming and heavier vocals aren't quite what they used to be. Actually, his have gotten deeper, I noticed, which is weird, because he always kind of had a pretty high scream.
Let's get to work.
But, you know, you can make heavy music and not be like all the time and shit, which,
That wasn't very hard.
I mean, most of the thrash bands proved. You know, Dave Mustaine didn't really scream. Whoever fucking was singing for Anthrax on any given day of the week didn't really scream. And even Hetfield, I wouldn't even really call what Hetfield did so much a scream. He was harsh, a little bit harsher. I wouldn't say he was singing, but like on Master of Puppets and Ride the Lightning, I'd say that was almost a scream, but not quite. But I don't know. There's this kind of, and this sort of leads into another music-related discussion. But I think the problem with Opeth now is you have basically one dude that is in complete creative control of the band, which, you know, I mean, that's fine. Ackerfeld's upfront with that. He basically has no problem stating in interviews that he is the main creative force behind the band, and it's his band and his vision and blah, 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 blah. But I think what you run into a problem there, because if you have no influence from the other people that you're playing music with,
Two down, on to the next.
things can get kind of navel-gazing, you know, convoluted, I guess you could say too, maybe. But, you know, or you run into situations where, like the Chimera thing, they just had another mass exodus where every band member quit except for Mark Hunter is the only one left standing. You know, and you run into these situations where well, at least in Opeth's case, these bands have been around for 20 years or so, and there's nothing wrong with change, because if they just keep putting out the same album over and over again, then they're Slayer. And I have nothing against Slayer, I like Slayer, but let's be honest, their albums are all, you can basically cherry pick a song from each album and put it onto another album and it would fit, for the most part. But some of these bands, I think when they try to branch out and do something different, you know, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. Heritage, I think, worked because it felt like a natural progression to where Ackerfeld's writing was going. You kind of got that sense with was it Ghost Reveries? And then Watershed. Whereas
Okay, last one coming up.
this is almost kind of like, I would say, it's their Reload album. It feels like, just from what I listened to, it kind of feels like the leftovers that didn't quite make it on the Heritage, almost. And I don't know, it's just kind of a weak overall album, I think. It just doesn't have any punch to it, and it's just, I don't know, maybe if I give it another listen, it'll grow on me. Who knows? But as far as experimenting goes and trying to diversify
Kinzie,
yourself, I
how's the
just don't think
information you
it
got on the
worked.
Deckers coming?
Um,
Compiling.
So what's
you know,
next?
but that being said, I mean, I liked
Too many people could be listening.
Okay.
uh,
Small Jacks.
Metallica's Load album. I thought it was an
Okay.
awesome album. There's some really good songs on there. I didn't like Reload so much, but I thought Load had some really good albums for as much shit as those guys got over that album. Um, so, like in my personal opinion, like that's a experiment that worked. Not so much with like Megadeth when they released Risk or some of the other stuff that some bands have done. I guess arguably you could say that Diablos Musica wasn't a very good attempt at trying to break the mold for Slayer, but I didn't. I wouldn't say Diablos Musica is one of my favorite albums. I think maybe the only song I can
You should
really
be more
remember
careful.
is
I
the
saw you coming 2
first
blocks ago.
probably 2 minutes of
Traffic
the
cameras.
first song on
They're
the
everywhere in
album.
this town.
Good to know.
I'm serious. You should toss out your fancy overpriced phone. I can find you through that too.
Yeah, look, I feel kind of weird having a conversation like this.
Totally agree. We should be using like that Navajo code dialect.
Come up for air. I took care of the Deckers.
Sure. Let down your guard and suddenly they make it look like you're selling secrets to Mossad and moonlighting as a dominatrix. We've created a big enough disruption for you to move on Matt Miller. But if you want the Deckers gone, like really gone, there's a lot of work to do.
All right. I'll hit you up if I need any more help.
Remember, throw out your phone!
Alright, guys, we're going to call it quits here. I want to thank you all for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.